Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for making time to attend to this meeting. The purpose of this engagement is to take you through the financials for Turnstar Holdings. With me, Kidisitse, Kiorapetsi, and Samuel Sehoko. This is the agenda. The presentation layout will be touching on introduction and background information of the company, analysis of the annual report, recommendations and conclusions and references. I'll take you through the introduction and the background of the company. And Kiorapes will take you through the analysis of the annual report, profitability, liquidity, and solvency. Lastly, Sehoku will take you through efficiency, market investment, portfolio recommendations, conclusions. Without wasting any time, already I've spoken about the Turnstar Holdings Limited, which is a public listed company, limited by shares, listed in Botswana Stock Exchange in 2002. The purpose of this report is to interpret and analyze the Turnstar financial performance to assist management in decision making. Financial ratios were used to assess and analyze the report. The background. Turnstar is primarily involved in the property market. That includes properties such as shopping centers, multi-residentials, industrial and commercial offices, with the market capitalization of 1.29%, representing 0.198% of the Botswana Stock Exchange equity market. Other competitors in the same market of the real estate, we have such companies as Far Properties, Prime Time Properties, Apex Holdings, Botswana Railways Properties, Kumo, and New African Property. Turnstar have an employee of about 135 across the three countries. That's Botswana, Dubai, and Tanzania, with their property assets sitting at 2.8 billion as at 31st of January 2024. The analysis of the annual report, with reference to the 2024 annual report, the financial performance was analyzed using the below financial ratios: profitability, liquidity, solvency, efficiency, and market ratios. With that said, I will hand over to Yorapezi, who is going to take you through the profitability, liquidity, and solvency ratios. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Kiorapetsi. I'll be taking you through the Turnstar financial performance, starting with the gross profit margin. The GPM, as it's projected for Turnstar, it shows an increase of 12.09% for the year 2024. From a GPM of 38.40 in the year 2023. The GPM increased due to the strong rental income growth across all jurisdictions. Moving on to the net profit margin. The net profit margin stood at 44.82 in 2024. And 41.42 in 2023. There was a slight increase of 3.7%, and there was that increase due or as a result of the rental income. There were earnings also from the currency exchange or forex transactions due to the appreciation of the US dollar against the Botswana pula. And however, it was negatively impacted by the tax payment of 30 0.3 million is projected there, and the interest also paid from the loan that was taken from the bank for the restructuring of other properties. As I move on to return on equity, the Turnstar shows an increment of 1.14 from the previous recordings of 6.52 in the previous year, which was 2023. This reflection shows that the Turnstar efficiently use their shareholders' funds to generate profit, and it also shows the good investment on that part. With the return on capital employed, Turnstar recorded 2.06 in 2024 and 0.47 in 2023. Compared with other companies in the same industry, it shows that Turnstar competed or outcompeted with its competitors, and it was above, as shown or as reflected from the graph here, competing with the FAR properties and the prime time properties. It shows 0.68 against 0.08 and 0.05 respectively with other companies. And for the other graph, it shows the profitability ratios that I've already made a presentation on. These are the results from 2023 up to 2024. As I move on to the liquidity ratios, I'll be making a presentation as well on the current ratio, which shows a decline as depicted from the graph there of 0.16 in 2020 in 2023, rather 0.35 in 2023, and a decline of 0.16 in 2024. This was due to the acquisition of properties in East Africa, which is Tanzania, and it was through a bank overdraft. It shows that it has also negatively affected the cash flow and the liquidity performance of the company, and the company might not meet its day-to-day operations. Also, there was a huge tax payment in 2024, which contributed to the low current ratio for Turnstar. Moving to another solvency ratio, which is the debt to equity ratio. The company stood at 1.13% increment as compared to the 45% which was recorded in 2023. The insignificant 1.3% increase was due to the restructuring of the loan from the previous year. When we talk of the interest coverage ratio, the company stood at 4.28 compared to 3.62 in 2023. There was a slight increment of 0.66, and this was due to the loan refinancing. Another solvency ratio, the debt ratio, in 2024 the company stood at 31.57, and in 2023 it stood at 31%. This was because of the borrowing to expand in the Botswana and into other East Africa market. Further, there is a recommendation that the company should negotiate interest with the lenders for a better rate. And lastly but not least, The net efficiency ratio in 2024, the company stood at 0.13, 0.13 in 2024, and in 2023, 0.11. There was a slight increase, and sorry, pardon me. Oh, I'm in the mood of presenting. Sorry, I touched on this slide for my colleague. So I ended with the debt ratio, and if there are any questions, I'll be waiting for the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyorapetse. It's a good thing that you are in the mood for presentation. We went on further to analyze the annual report of Turnstar, looking at the efficiency ratios. So basically, we wanted to see the ability of Turnstar to operate at an optimum level. We looked at the net asset turnover of Turnstar. That is how they used their assets to generate revenue. So in comparison of 2024 annual report and 2023, there was a 0.02% increment between those 2 years, which was a positive. It was a positive because in 2023, its net asset turnover stood at 0.11 compared to 2024, which is at 0.13. Therefore, there was a slight increase due to the operating costs, such as tax and interest paid, which negatively impacted the profit margin. Therefore, what the company could do is to consider reducing its borrowing and renegotiate interest rates on the loan facilities. Therefore, the other efficiency ratio we looked at was the occupancy ratio. Remember that Turnstar is a property development company. Therefore, their core source of revenue, or rather a financial measure that we looked at when analyzing the report, was its occupancy ratio. It measured how they utilize their space or property in order to generate revenue. Therefore, between the years of 2023 and 2024, Turnstar Holdings realized a 1% increment in its occupancy ratio across all jurisdictions. You would remember that it operates in East Africa, in Botswana, as well as in the United Arab Emirates. Therefore, in 2023, its occupancy ratio stood at 97% compared to the 98% in 2024. We went on further to look at the debt collection days. This is also pivotal when analyzing the financial performance of Turnstar Holdings because its core source of revenue is property. Therefore, their main income comes from rental collections. Therefore, we have noted that in 2023, the company's average debt collection days was 43 days. Compared to 2024, which was 36.3 days. Therefore, this on its own is a positive to the company because they were able to collect rentals within a minimal period of time compared to in the previous year. Therefore, this means that the company, what it could do rather, it could maximize on the use of digital modes of collection or payments such as debit orders and scheduled payments with clients. This could have also been pivotal to a reduction in the collection days. And also, there was a tremendous improvement in collection days, as alluded to earlier on. And this resulted in enough working capital to fund the business. And then moving on to look at the market investment or the market investment value of the company. We looked at the dividend yield of Turnstar Holdings as well as the earnings per share. With regards to the dividend yield, we could note that Turnstar Holdings dividend yield grew by 3.55%. Because in 2023 it was 8% compared to the 11.55% which was realized in 2024. Therefore, this dividend yield went up because there was an increase in profits of the year as well as the cash on hand during the same period. And with regards to the earnings per share of Turnstar Holdings, we have noted that its earnings per share or per linked unit stood at 18 thebe per share in 2023 against the 25 thebe per share which was declared to shareholders in 2024. So this was a 28% increment in the earnings per share of Turnstar Holdings. Therefore, this also was mainly due to the company's expansion into the United Arab Emirates market as well as the East African market, which was Tanzania. So it played a very pivotal role in increasing the dividends or rather earnings per share of Turnstar Holdings. Therefore, in summing up what we noted in the analysis of Turnstar Holdings, we could say that Turnstar should maybe consider developing into other areas which have close proximity to towns. That is in the case of Botswana, as well as maybe the company could leverage more on partnering with government institutions or other financial institutions through triple P models. This would improve its market share. As you note that Turnstar currently have got a significant market capitalization. Therefore, partnering with other financial service providers could help boost its revenues. Also, what Turnstar could do is the periodic or quarterly reviewing of its risk tolerance, because as a property development company, they focus more on getting loans or financial assistance from banks in order to develop their properties. Therefore, this could be another way the company can help to assess its risk tolerance levels. Also looking at the case of Botswana, it has been indicated by Statistica.com that the residential property market in Botswana is expected to grow at a rate of 3.52% between the years of 2025 and 2029. Therefore, the company could leverage on that. And also, the other thing that they could do as a recommendation is to avoid overcapitalization, because this could lead to losses in the company. Therefore, in conclusion, we can conclude that despite the economic challenges, Turnstar in 2024 have managed to make profits and deliver to its shareholders. There were more earnings from the East African market and the United Arab Emirates, which also boosted the revenues of the company. With that being said, we've come to the end of our presentation. We invite maybe questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I would just like to know, what does the dividend yield and earnings per share for Turnstar reflect about its market value?
Okay, thank you for the question. You would recall that earlier on my colleague indicated that Turnstar Holdings hold a very significant market capitalization of 1.29 billion pula. That is in relation to the listed equity market of the Botswana Stock Exchange. Therefore, this is a very good indication that Turnstar can be worth an investment for potential investors out there. And also looking at an increase in the dividends per share issued to shareholders in the past 2 years, that is 2023 and 2024, the company was profitable to its shareholders out there. So it could be a worthwhile investment for potential investment. Thank you.
Generally, how do you think Turnstar Holdings market outlook looks like in the future?
Thanks, Mr. Wali. Turnstar market outlook is mixed, with a strong performance in certain areas like Dubai, Eastern Africa and Tanzania, and the retail sector in Botswana. Hence the evidence to the 12.09% increase in the revenue. However, there are some challenges with the office sector because of the economic climate. So I think that answered it.
Any